Welcome back to Kontroversy, where we hear global news, views, and attitude according to my producer. According to me, we just bitches about things. The next story, it will be from Amy. Half the sky, how the trafficking of women today is on a par with genocide.
Okay, pretty big, heavy topic. Sorry, guys. But pretty important. I'm not plugging this book, first of all. I'm really not plugging this book. They haven't paid me to plug. But I read a review about it in The Guardian a couple of days ago. And basically, these authors worked for the New York Times, right? And half the sky is actually an ancient Chinese expression meaning women hold up half the sky, so have a pretty important role in society.
Okay,
These authors are basically arguing that...
Hold on. Holding up half the sky doesn't mean the size of us, right?
No. Just kidding. It means we're so important that we, you know, like...
I'm just kidding. Okay.
Half the sky,
Carry on.
Really? Moving onwards from that.
Carry on.
It's not always a size issue. So yeah, the authors worked for the New York Times, and basically the book tries to change the way we view when we talk about sex slavery. Essentially, they went to Cambodia and had an awful experience somewhere in the outback of Cambodia in the provinces. And essentially one of the authors, the guy, bought 2 girls out of prostitution, out of sex slavery. They were about 14 years old, and tried to reintegrate them into society. Now, what the 2 authors are arguing is that this is something that happens every single day, goes completely unnoticed, and it's particularly happening in our region, in Southeast Asia, in the subcontinent as well. Yeah, it goes largely untold because we have other news stories that are covered every single day. But this is a problem which has spanned like decades.
I think Prime Minister Abhisit addressed about this trafficking issue when he first came in. It was something that he was talking about, and it's a campaign that ASEAN is doing. But I'm not sure how much progress or how much they have done anything to make it better, but it was
might
addressed.
Be too busy dealing with other things.
With the domestic
like
issue,
but
it had been addressed during the ASEAN summit.
But I think what the point that this book is trying to make is basically that the stuff that's going on, it shows that men and women aren't actually as equal as we in the Western world or the more developed countries like to think they are. Because if a girl still has no choice over, you know, whether she gets sold into sex slavery or whether she's forced to get married at 5 years old, then, you know, we have to reassess the way that we're looking at gender equality.
Right. It would never be equal. Think about it. If a beautiful girl walk in compared to a beautiful man, I mean a handsome man in a coffee shop, and the weather is a guy, of course he's gonna go serve the girl first. But
unless he's gay. And
there will never be a gender equality, but I know what you mean, like the equal right. But even though in the developed country, like America, it's probably one of the biggest country in terms of power in the world, still never have the female president. Think about it.
Women
Australian
are seen as symbols
Indian
still,
has it.
like objects,
Right. I'm not feminist. I'm not asking for anything more. But yeah, it's
no. But the thing is, I think
what I get.
It's all about the power imbalance, more or less, because it doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl, if you're that young age, if you're 14, you know, and if you're a boy, you still could, you know, get lured into doing certain things.
True.
It's just a matter of power over, you know, the authorities and lack of power.
Lack of education. And especially there's a couple of really scary stories in this book, but one of them are girls whose families sell them. I think this happens in Thailand as well.
Yeah,
Isn't it like a whole village or something?
I think it's some kind of value in the north. If your girls or your daughter can make monies for the family, and so they can have big house, they can have a TV or refrigerator. It's more like a show off to. I don't want to use the word show off, it's kind of harsh, but yeah, it's a show off to the neighbor that your daughter's making money.
But again, it all stems from poverty.
Yeah,
these families
and
are
the
poor,
girls
so they
end up with HIV infected, come back home and cannot do anything else, and it's still going on, it's happening.
Well, there's one story in the book, which is basically a girl of 14, I think Cambodian, gets sold to a Thai casino owner.
Right.
Thai casino owner dies of HIV/AIDS. So she gets re-auctioned off. But you know, it's stuff like this. She gets re-auctioned off. First of all, does someone want to test the girl to see if she's got HIV/AIDS? And you know, it's really hard to break out of this cycle once you're in it.
That's another form of slavery.
But you know, what the book is basically proposing is that we need to look at where the root of the problem is.
So I think it's about the supply and demand. If we try to, but you know, there's always a demand, but maybe the best way we can do right now is to make it even more difficult to trade. Maybe it will help, because
there should be like rules. And I mean, what do you guys think of?
Because obviously it's illegal, but these people still do it anyway. So we just have to make it even more difficult.
Or make it legal, but highly regulated. I was going to talk about prostitution in Holland, in Amsterdam. You know, there's like a sectioned off red light district. The girls make their own choice. They're over 18. Which is not the case over here, you know.
Yeah, but these girls, you know, some of these people have a taste for young girl with just have to be young, or if they're legal age, they just have to look like 14 or 15.
Yeah, but I mean, that's so messed up.
Yeah, like, so even though you legalized it, there will be some of those people that prefer real young virgin. You know, just to, I don't know, to be a status quo in the society.
You just want to feel the power. That's, I think,
but I think it's a cultural thing, especially in this region, right? I don't want to keep, like, you know, in the West it doesn't happen because obviously, you know,
it does.
It does.
That's why they came here.
But
but it's just easier.
But it's a different story, but that's true as well.
But it's just easier to do it here. I think the problem is, and it's always a problem in Thailand, is the one who enforce the law. That not really. They're not
really enforcing the law. They're pocketing money and they're probably facilitating things.
There is some that's serious about it. There's some people who are doing it, but it's not enough. It's still going on, and every time I read about this story, I just feel lucky that I wasn't born in one of those
families.
You get pressure that even though you got auctioned off and you feel hurt or you feel betrayed by your family, you still have to make money and send it back. I mean, right now I'm not making any money for my family.
Well, hey, at least you're not asking them for money.
Yeah, I'm not asking them for money, but
and you're not in this sort of situation where
think
you're
about
forced
it. If they like try to categorize me with all those girls, I'll be the one to make the least money.
Oh, shush!
You're not 14.
Oh my God, that's a big shock. You're not 14.
See how I avoided the age issue? I went like really low there. But let me just put out just one scary statistic, which is also from the book. Again, guys, pay me for plugging the book. But this is more about genital mutilation. But again, it goes back to the fact that girls are not being given the choice or having a say in their bodies.
In South Africa?
In Africa as a whole, in many countries in Africa, the statistics, every 10 seconds, a girl somewhere in the world is pinned down, gets her legs pulled apart, and has her genitals cut off.
Okay,
every 10 seconds.
No, they did the thing that they sew it off, right? Just to seal it off. Remember we were talking about it?
But with no like painkillers.
It's a tradition. You know, I read the article about some of these girls, then they even said when they were kids, for them it's like a process of being an adult. For some of them, before they know better, they thought it's, because for them, they grow up with that tradition.
Isn't like one model, like a supermodel?
Yes.
She got, was it Naomi? I don't know.
No.
But Oprah also.
There was one
yes,
like
she wrote a book about it.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of them. I read in, believe it or not, Cosmopolitan like 15 years ago.
I do believe you.
That she reads Cosmopolitan.
It's well, I mean, believe it or not, it's in Cosmopolitan.
Oh, okay.
It's about a girl from Chile that she is now in America, but she said she barely feel anything down there because, you know, after it gets
sewn back
sewn back on or whatever, it becomes like scars. So the skin gets thicker and all these nerve and kind of get numbed.
Yeah,
that kind of
they
thing.
cut off the bit that actually gives you pleasure.
Right.
Bummer.
Oh, heavy. Bummer.
I think it's a bit more than bummer. This is like,
I'm just lucky that I was born here to my family, that they're not thinking about selling me. I don't think they're going to make any money from selling me.
Hey, we can do an auction on you on the next show and see.
No, I don't want to be disappointed.
Aww.
The price might get even lower and lower.
Whatever.
It'll be like a government auction and who bid the lowest price. Anyway, we'll take a break and we'll come back with the golf story. Stay tuned.